Good evening. I'm Jojo Zaza, and this is your top international story tonight on DV Real News TV. A powerful show of diplomacy, symbolism, and strategic realignment unfolded today in Moscow, where global dignitaries gathered to mark the 80th anniversary of the historic victory over Nazism in the Second World War. Among the prominent figures in attendance was Captain Ibrahim Traoré, transitional president of Burkina Faso and a key figure in the newly formed Alliance of Sahel States, or AES. The event, held on May 9, 2025, saw military parades, state ceremonies, and international leaders uniting to commemorate the sacrifices made during the Second World War. While the pageantry was rich with history, for President Traoré, the moment carried a deeper resonance, one that speaks to present-day struggles and the future path of his nation and region. Sources close to the Burkina administration say President Traoré's attendance at the ceremony was not merely a gesture of respect for past alliances. Rather, it served as a reaffirmation of Burkina Faso's shifting geopolitical stance, one that seeks strategic partnerships outside the traditional West African colonial framework. In private diplomatic briefings following the ceremony, Traoré emphasized the symbolic power of remembering a global victory against fascism and foreign domination. He likened the Allied resistance against Nazism in the 20th century to the contemporary fight waged by his administration and the broader AES bloc against terrorism, transnational exploitation, and the lingering influence of imperialism in the Sahel. The Alliance of Sahel States, comprising Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, was formed in response to shared security challenges and frustrations over what member states describe as ineffective or neocolonial international partnerships. Together, these nations have charted a new course centered on sovereignty, regional unity, and diversified alliances, including a rapidly expanding security and economic partnership with the Russian Federation. President Traoré reportedly underscored that the spirit of global resistance, once embodied by the Red Army and Allied forces in the 1940s, now informs the AES's determination to reclaim peace, security, and dignity on African soil. During closed-door meetings following the parade, Traoré was seen engaging with senior Russian officials, where he praised what he called a mutually beneficial partnership between Burkina Faso and Russia. This collaboration, he says, has yielded tangible support in counter-terrorism efforts, infrastructure development, and defense modernization. Observers note that the move reflects a broader strategy among AES nations to challenge what they see as an outdated dependency on Western frameworks and aid structures, many of which, they argue, have failed to deliver security or stability over the last 2 decades. The message is clear. For President Traoré and his fellow AES leaders, Victory Day 2025 was not just about remembering the past, it was a moment to signal the future. A future in which African nations chart their own course, select their allies based on respect and reciprocity, and pursue peace not as a gift from external powers, but as an outcome of internal strength and sovereign choice. As for the international implications, experts suggest this growing alliance between Sahel states and Russia could reshape the balance of influence in West Africa, particularly as these nations pivot away from French and EU-aligned forces, and as grassroots support for Pan-African unity gains momentum. According to geopolitical analyst regional security expert. In summary, Captain Ibrahim Traoré's visit to Moscow may have been ceremonial in nature, but its political undertones were unmistakable. As Burkina Faso and its regional partners in the AES continue to redefine their identity and allegiances on the global stage, such moments serve both as tributes to the past and as declarations of future intent. The war on terrorism, the resistance against modern imperialism, and the pursuit of lasting regional autonomy are now being cast in a new light, one that draws historical inspiration from global struggles of liberation, but adapts it to the uniquely African context of. However, today, we begin our international coverage with a significant diplomatic encounter in Nigeria, one that signals deepening ties between West Africa's economic powerhouse and one of the Gulf region's most dynamic players. At the heart of Nigeria's political nerve center, the iconic Aso Villa in Abuja, a high-level diplomatic meeting unfolded earlier today. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Abdulaziz Al Khalifi, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs for the State of Qatar, was received in an official capacity by Nigeria's head of state. The visit, marked by ceremony and strategic substance, featured the hand delivery of a personal message from His Highness, the Emir of Qatar, a message described by insiders as strategically warm and future-oriented. The closed-door meeting, which reportedly lasted just under an hour, centered on bilateral relations, investment strategy, and a shared vision for prosperity across two regions traditionally underrepresented in mutual cooperation, Sub-Saharan Africa and the Arabian Gulf. Though details of the emir's message remain confidential, sources close to the presidency have confirmed that the discussion touched on a range of key topics: energy collaboration, agricultural trade, educational exchange programs, and technology partnerships. What makes today's meeting particularly notable is the deliberate tone of openness and mutual ambition. Analysts say that Nigeria, Africa's largest economy and most populous nation, is increasingly positioning itself as a hub for global capital, and Qatar, with its immense financial resources and forward-looking foreign policy, is responding to that signal with growing interest. According to presidential advisors, the Nigerian leader expressed deep appreciation for what he described as a relationship built not only on diplomacy but on dignity, a bond underscored by shared values such as mutual respect, economic equity, and a belief in constructive global engagement. This isn't the first time Nigeria and Qatar have found common ground. In recent years, bilateral talks have been held on the sidelines of major summits from Davos to Doha, with key figures from both nations repeatedly emphasizing a desire to transcend traditional donor-recipient models and build something more robust, a true economic partnership. According to economic strategist, I quote, "What we're seeing here is the evolution of Nigeria's global identity. By inviting partners like Qatar, who understand both energy diplomacy and investment diversification, the government is signaling that Nigeria is no longer merely a market, it is a strategic partner in global development." One area where experts anticipate rapid progress is infrastructure development. Qatar's sovereign wealth fund, known globally for its expansive portfolio in real estate, tech, and logistics, has expressed preliminary interest in Nigeria's transport corridors and urban renewal projects, including Lagos Deep Sea Port and Abuja's Smart City initiatives. In return, Nigeria is offering something deeply valued in global markets: access. With a burgeoning youth population, a tech-savvy middle class, and an entrepreneurial spirit that pulses through its cities and villages alike, Nigeria presents a horizon of untapped innovation. In his closing remarks following the meeting, Nigeria's leader reportedly reaffirmed his commitment to building a future-oriented, innovation-driven economy. He extended a warm welcome to Qatari investors and institutions, declaring unequivocally that Nigeria is open for business, open for friendship, and open for partnerships that prioritize the well-being of people over profit. To further unpack what this means for regional stability and economic growth, I'm joined by our diplomatic correspondent. Him said, "How significant is today's meeting from a geopolitical standpoint?" According to correspondent, I quote, "This is more than just protocol. It's the embodiment of a pivot. Nigeria is diversifying its alliances, and Qatar is emerging as a preferred partner. This could have ripple effects across ECOWAS, the Gulf Cooperation Council, and even international organizations where both countries hold influence. What's especially notable is the emphasis on shared prosperity, not aid, not dependency, but mutual value." In conclusion, today's diplomatic engagement at Aso Villa stands as a potent symbol of what modern international relations can become: agile, respectful, and results-driven. As Nigeria and Qatar lay the foundations for a new era of strategic partnership, the world watches closely. Because in an age defined by uncertainty, it is alliances built on trust, transparency, and shared vision that hold the power to shape the global future. For DV Real News TV, I'm Jojo Zaza, reminding you that in diplomacy, as in life, the strongest bonds are not imposed, but chosen. Stay with us for more from the world of global affairs, African enterprise, and economic transformation, right here.